There's a lot going on, but we're gonna check out the rest of the story here. Right now, actually. Go to the quest right now. The toy war heating up. The feedback on the board does not look right. Shouldn't we be receiving naught but high praise? It wasn't like this before. Quite unexpected, yes. I suspect foul play. Fortunately, our boss has, in his wisdom, prepared a contingency plan. Well, of course he has. Why else do you think he's the boss? Arbon, Albert, is Livier in? We've got something for us, apparently. Ah, right on time. Here comes the contingency now. What contingency? Well, that's you. That's what the boss said. He's not here right now, but let us explain. Just a short explanation, once again. During the last 2 days, we released the results of our champion duelist plan to the public. We also started pre-orders that will allow people to pay half the price as a deposit and thus qualify for early access. Well, commentary. Don't pre-order games. We also placed an evaluation column, that is to say a message board at the door of our store, upon which people could leave their profuse praises. This is what they call building hype. Just as the boss expected, our store really did get very popular, but very few people placed pre-orders, and the amount of praise left in the other column was lamentably low. You lack sincerity. This is where the internal quality control that, and get with the times. Such are the reviews we've gotten. Looks like the market wasn't quite what you expected, huh? I fear things are not so simple. We have a saying around here, that where there's smoke, there's fire. That is to say, that something never arises from nothing. In other words, someone is spreading rumors. Baseless, scurrilous rumors that smear us. That smear us irresponsibly. That irresponsibility invent disparaging fictions and defamatory fabrications. The boss is sure that his brother is the only one who could be behind such a smear campaign. Lept Hollergy is the most to be worried about if his plan succeeds after all. So, what do you want us to do? Hire us to smear him back? God, Paimon. Really? That's the first thing you thought? Lady Fraterna above, how could you ever think of such a thing? Our boss is Charon's elder brother, after all. Even if they might stoop to such low and vulgar means, we will defeat them fair and square. Exactly. Only this way can the elder brother reform his wayward little brother. What are we needed for in that case? To get them to reveal what they mean by sincerity and internal quality control, of course. Reveal what now? Is that not fair? And Fontaine not the nation of fairness. That's not what fairness means. The boss said that since everyone seems to think that the other party's packaging has been done with sincerity, we should keep pace with them. We should package our champion duelists as they package adventurers, adding that to our wealth of data that guarantee a comeback victory. Packaging? Nah, they just turned an adventurer's tale into a toy, that's all. Oh, that must be it. Please, ask them what it is. The story must be the packaging you speak of. I, too, have heard a little something. It seems that while Charon was drunk, he accidentally let slip that his toy was made due to a certain person. Imagine what a grand tale they must have shared to inspire such words from him. Huh, really? You know, Traveler, Paimon's suddenly kind of curious as what the story might be. Why don't we try to go back and try asking? Will you? Splendid, splendid! We shall leave this in your capable hands then, Miss Paimon, Miss Traveler. Okay, let's find out what the deal is. What did Bennet do to inspire them to create a toy? Let's find out. Boken de Boken. Yawns. Hello again, dear customers. How have you been? Have you tried out the Adventurer toy, by the way? Hi there, Karen. Actually, we've got some things we wanted to consult you about. And yeah, it's about the toy. Ah, happy coincidence then. I enjoy those. Like a fortuitous opportunity to nap, or just happening to have enough mora to buy what you'd like to. Ask away. Can you tell us the story behind the toy? That's right. We've heard that you based this toy on someone. It's got to be the adventurer who's the star of the tale, right? I see. So that is your question. Well, that adventurer did indeed leave a deep impression on me. I met an adventurer in Springvale when I was about to leave Mondstadt. It appeared that he had messed up some sort of meal delivery commission. Apparently, he had encountered several waves of monsters on the way. And not only had he missed the timing, but the food had also been bumped about. Knowing a thing or two about cooking, I helped him make a new serving. Well, that was sure nice of you. Well, that is not all. You might find it hard to imagine, but that one attempt at cooking resulted in all manner of accidents. The firewood got wet, a big hole got gouged in the bottom of the pot, and while it was plating up, I was hit by some flying stones from out of nowhere. One of them even bounced onto my head. That one really hurt. Well, the job did eventually get done, albeit with a complaint from the customer that they had cracked tooth on a stone while eating. Ah, Lady Fraterna above. Surely it wasn't the stone that hit us on the head. Was this adventurer's name Bennet? That was his name. Wait. Do you two know him as well? Interesting fellow, that one. Later, he took me to all sorts of rarely visited places in Mondstadt to show his thanks. It was a pretty rough journey, but the uncommonly beautiful sights made it worth the effort. I would have taken him for a travel enthusiast had he not told me that he discovered those places by losing his footing during adventurers, or from getting lost. On the day of my return to Fontaine, he came to say goodbye. There I asked him if he considered his unlucky disposition bothersome. He just gave me a thumbs up and said, "The world is full of people." No, actually, let's do better voice. "The world is full of all sorts of people, and maybe just happen to be the unluckiest. But thanks to that, I've also become the bravest person, and that's given me access to sights only I can see." What a brilliant way of putting things. Walking the path of misfortune with a big smile on one's face. Perhaps that is the spirit of a true adventurer. That's right. Bennett's the most adventurous adventurer for sure. If bad luck can be infectious, perhaps that adventuring spirit could be too. And with any luck, the latter can spread far further than the former. I wonder, will this story give you enough material for your report? How did you figure this one out this time? Where there's smoke, there's fire. At least that's what we say in Fontaine. If you really wanted to know about this story, then you'd ask the first time. But since you're only doing that now, I can only guess that my brother put you up to it. You really did know. You know, Paimon doesn't get why Liver would have such a dim view of you. You're pretty smart. You seem like a pretty nice guy. It's anger, I think. He's probably still mad at me for what he sees as betrayal. Betrayal? Our family is well known for our skills making clockwork devices. I've always been good at making toys of that sort, and when my brother isn't quite as good, he's got a real knack for doing business. Since we both love toys, we agreed that when we grew up, we would set up the best toy store ever. But it was only when we grew up that we realized that someone had to succeed in the family business. That is to say, this shop. My brother had a big fight with our father over that. Went to strike out on his own. I, on the other hand, was convinced to stay. And is that not a betrayal? Does that really count, though? Well, it wasn't a show of adventurousness, that is for sure. I'm afraid if I failed to make a name for myself out there, I'd have to come crawling back to the family business. I just couldn't take that pressure. I've always been like that. Seems like the first to cry when we encountered some hooligans on the streets. But my brother would have to be behind him with a, "Don't worry, watch me send them flying with my knuckle sandwich." Your relationship seems kind of complicated. Well, I suppose that's how things played out, eh? In any case, I'll be here if you have any other questions. You're always welcome here in my store. I like him. He's fun. Oh, Lavura's is back. Boss, our two guests have returned. Quick as ever, I see. I suppose you gained much from your investigation. Ha! You know, Lavura, why do you always show up later? Well, I suppose I am remiss. I strive to come out earlier next time. Anyways, about that toy. You tell Lavura about Bennet. He frowns. A toy based on an adventurer named Bennet. I see. Another thing. We didn't ask him, but Paimon thinks your brother didn't badmouth your shop. He doesn't look like the type. Oh, how so? He seems to be sorry about something concerning you. You pass Karen's words on. Lavura's guide passes through you towards a place in the intermediate distance, like a camera adjusting its focus. After a while, a dissatisfied noise struggles out of his throat. If you ask me, I don't think that idiot would do something like that either. Wait, so what was this whole contingency thing about? The boss was just looking for an excuse, I suppose. More likely than that, I'd say. Well, he is a businessman. Business have a reputation to consider. He might be the big brother, is he not? A big brother's got a name to uphold, you know. Say no more. I'll let you eat my knuckle sandwich. Lavura's exactly what Carlin said he would be like. Well, dear guests, I was just thinking I should go pay that idiot a visit. Whoa! Are you going to put your differences aside and go ask him for advice then? Of course not. But if he thinks he's betrayed me and feels bad about it, I shouldn't give him the opportunity to apologize to my face. He did say that, but Paimon doesn't think that's the sort of betrayal someone needs to apologize for. Well, it's decided. Arbon, there's no need for any further pre-orders. Return all deposits as needed and keep the evaluation board. What, boss? So we're not executing the plan anymore? What about the data collection? There's still time to make adjustments. No, the data collection continues. I have other plans for that. You've got payments to collect, don't you? I always do an honest business. Suspiciously honest in this case. The boss is the boss, even when he's being stubborn. I wouldn't call his attitude towards toys completely worthless. I'll pay a visit to Once the next 2 days of data collection are complete, I'd like you two to come too, good customers. I've got some other things to settle here in the shop, so if you'll excuse me. Levere's got such an odd temper. He's really gonna ask for an apology, isn't he? Well, would you look at that? Our third party has brought about an opportunity for change once again. Third party? That's the two of you, of course. Thanks to you, the differences between the two shop owners may yet be resolved. That's what happened previously, too. Previously? Aye, have you not noticed how this shop is separated from Hologree by the Northland Bank? Boss originally wanted to set up a shop next to Lapau Hologree to compete with them directly. Now, I doubt that he knew about the boss's history when they reserved that space, but in some way, they became the mediator in the conflict, didn't they? That's super interesting. The Fatui love to meddle in other people's business, but that sort of meddling is a first for sure. And that's the importance of third parties, just like how a double act still needs an audience. Well, what about solo acts? Wouldn't things work with just one actor and one audience? Wait, are you trying to betray me too? You better watch out for my knuckle sandwich then. They're trying to do a comedy deal. They're not really pulling it off, but that could also just be my reading. Are they still arguing? Have you seen the evaluation board? Seems like someone likes those clockwork penguins. I saw it. Is that the one that talks about wanting to get to know Freminent, right? Sounds like someone who would like to strike up some further collaboration, if you ask me. Freminent? Oh, we're talking about those clockwork penguins on the table. A driver named Freminent made them, and then he placed them in our store as a consignment. He's a good lad with a pretty face, soft-spoken fellow, but he's very good at making toys. He seems a little melancholy, though, like someone who lacks something that should belong to him. I know that look, you know. It's just the same one that Arbin makes when he looks at his empty wallet. I don't suppose if Freminent's in need of more, do you? Don't be ridiculous. He didn't even discuss the profit split when he came to talk about the consignment. He wasn't in it for the Mora. True. But what else would trouble a lad of his age? Yeah, he's a winsome fellow, too. I haven't seen the boss ever approve of a consignment. He not only offered to set up outdoor stall for the penguins, but even proposed a 50-50 split on the earnings. Unfortunately, one could not only call the sales middling. Many people came to look, sure, but there weren't many buyers. The toy is very intricately designed, but to say it also makes it harder to play with and harder to fix. Really? I didn't expect anyone would have a message about it on the board. Maybe there's a big client behind it, eh? Either way, we should tell the boss about it. Won't want to miss out on a good deal, you know. Yeah, I want a little penguin. Can I buy a little penguin? I want to buy a little penguin. They're cute. Maybe we'll get to meet the creators of the little penguin at some point. Can we actually go into the Northland Bank? No. Usually we can go into the banks, but of course the last time Genshin Impact let us into a bank, we kind of sort of stole from them. Anyhow, bank robbers. Like, hey, you can steal from the bank. Nobody cares, because the Fatui run it. So who cares? Let's go to this quest. Toy War and Armistice. Oh, did I forget to get the button? There we go. I see you're doing well, Sharn. Brother, what are you doing here? We haven't seen each other in so long. That's what you chose to say? I just didn't expect you to come over and see me. I mean, our shops are quite close together, but you never came over. I thought you were still angry with me. I'm not here to talk about what happened before. I was just going to ask you this. That adventurer toy was made because of me, right? I knew I wouldn't be able to hide anything from you. What? Wait. Now Paimon's confused. Wasn't that toy inspired by Bennet? You see, you two have arrived as well. I'm sorry for not explaining previously, but I didn't know where to begin. Although that adventurer did give me critical inspiration, my brother was the real reason I insisted on having the toy made. I don't really get what's so difficult. Why is this a problem again? That's my brother for twisting himself about into loops over everything. Bye, Trap. If you're really gone. I don't know if you're really gone, but maybe you are. If you haven't changed either, brother. I'm more convinced that you and that adventurer are the same type of person. I don't have a vision, nor am I an adventurer. But you have that same adventurous spirit. Bennet lives on adventure, while you live for adventure. You did pick up flattery from me too? Now, how can that be? You've never been a flatterer. You've never hesitated to tell me that I haven't any fighting spirit. And while the truth is frustrating, it's the truth nonetheless. You've always been trying to be the best toy merchant ever, but I exceeded the family's arrangements, continuing the cycle of clockmaking. Only people like you and Bennet can turn their passions into their profession. I cannot. It would be take 100 of me to match your courage. Come on, don't say that about yourself. There's no point in hiding this. When my brother first stated his intentions to move his shop next to mine, my first reaction was to consider moving the shop. Father would be ashamed, and rightfully so. But in the end, the Northland Bank took the spot and separated us. A happy coincidence again, you could say. Yeah, Armin told us about it. You really think that the world is so full of happy coincidences that the Northland Bank just so happened to come between us at that time? What do you mean, Lavier? I had reserved that spot long ago, but a new idea struck me, so I transferred it to them at a low price. This didn't just come out of nowhere, you know. So you were the one that got them involved, huh? Did you think that your previous decision was too impulsive or something? Ever since I left, my goal has always been the greatest toy merchant. That sort of greatness would they be if the family feud made my brother move away in the process, huh? That smells like concern to Paimon. You were just making excuses when you said you wanted Karen to apologize, weren't you? Apologize? What apologize? Did I ever say that? Wow, that is a really earnest denial, considering that you actually did say it. I'm not here to congratulate you, Charm. That toy is quite well made. It has been such a long time since I last heard a word of praise from you, brother. I didn't think that. I've also brought you a gift. Here's the data that these two adventurers gathered over the last few days. It should help you create something even more interesting. Huh? But weren't you going to make the champion duelists? That data's important to you, isn't it? That plan is suspended. The market shifted faster than I thought. So some ad hoc adjustments may be necessary. But this data, how could I just take it? You take it when I give it to you, obviously. In that case, I'll take it for safekeeping. Feel free to reclaim it should you ever need it again. So Lavier's other plan was to give the data to his brother. I apologize, dear customers. I did not ask for your suggestions first before doing this. Oh, it's fine. You paid us, didn't you? This was your personal matter. It was totally worth it if your relationship with your brother can be improved. Right, traveler? Yes, our thoughts are aligned in this indeed. I guess this was a successful third-party intervention. Oh, right. Levere, Karen, since we're all here, why don't you strike while the iron's hot and work together on something? You're good at making stuff, Charon, and we have Levere to do the advertising. If you do it as a team, it's sure to work out. I appreciate your good intentions, but there's no need. I feel the same way. Wait, so this is what you two are gonna agree on? That Bennet fellow said this too, didn't he? The world is full of all sorts of people. You did remember that part. The world is full of all sorts of people, and they all have sights that only they can see. If I learned anything from him at all, that would be it. Sharon and I are just different people, which is why we've set out on different paths. Perhaps he thinks that my path is too adventurous, and I, for my part, can't stand the kind of placid existence he leads. That's right. If the hour hand does the minute hand's work, it will get tired without compensation the next day. That's a saying. That's quite a saying. And while intense challenges are an adventure, it's a simple life, not as one as well. Everyone's on their own journey of adventure. So, since we've each chosen our direction, let's walk down that path and seek our own unique sights. And I'll occasionally go meet with you. After all, your road will be quite difficult. Don't you worry about me. At least I know how to enlist third parties to help me out of jams. I didn't sit around waiting for these adventurers or the Northland Bank. Let me tell you that. And what will you do when there's a problem and even a third party can't solve? I'm sure you know the stiffer gear is, the less durable it will be. I worry that... And if we meet, we meet. What else can we do, huh? It's just life. Man, my avatar is bouncing like crazy. Why is it so bouncy? Because it's on the wrong microphone. That's better. Yeah, that's much better. Way too bouncy. No, you won't be defeated by life, just like Bennet. If things prove otherwise... Yeah. I'll send you flying with a knuckle sandwich. Ah, brat. Listen to yourself. Talking to your big brother like that. Don't get too cocky. Well, if Lady Paterna can sit at the judge's desk for a while, then a little brother can borrow his big brother's lines, huh? I see you're figuring us Fontanians out. I'd like to ask you something, if you are free. Let's meet outside our shop later. That's all I have to say today, Sharon. I'll be heading back now. Does he have anything to say? I haven't gone back, have you? Well, I must thank you. I'm sure Father would be pleased that my brother and I finally spoke.
Yeah.
You there? Well, you seem to be in a good mood. Thanks for your help. Speaking of which, Charon's trip to Mondstadt gave me an idea. Perhaps I should go travel around a bit, find some inspiration for toys myself. You've traveled the world. You'd probably know some friends like that Bennet. Do you have any suggestions for me? Well, you do have a lot of friends, but when it comes to toy inspiration, that might be a bit tough. Why not try to look for a third party? Eh? We're a valid third party, aren't we? Are you referring to the Northland Bank? Oh, you mean the previous third party? Oh, let Paimon think. The Northland Bank's under the Fatui, and the Fatui are under... Are you referring to Harbinger? Do you mean that I can make a toy theme after a Harbinger? Huh? Traveler, do you mean... Oh, Paimon gets it. Devere, did you know that there's a very special Harbinger whom they call the greatest toy salesman in all of Snezhnaya? What? There's such a person? Of course. And he's a real expert too. Maybe he'll inspire you. And, you know, toy merchants and a seller would make pretty awesome combo, don't you think? Thanks for your suggestions. They've been very helpful. I don't think it would be easy for me to get in contact with a Harbinger, but I do have some connections to the Northland Bank. I'll see what I can do. Don't forget to invite us to try whatever new toy you come up with. I will. Keep an ear out for news from me. They're really trying to draw a child into the story, aren't they? I'll inform you of my efforts at the Northern Bank, Barity Fruit. Arbor and Bear don't seem to be in today. They took leave, said that they had a new idea for toys. Weird, if you ask me. They usually can't think of anything but their favorite comedies, forget having any thoughts about toys. What this change of heart's about, I couldn't guess. Hello, Armand. Is Armand here? This is for Arbon and Albert. Charon really inspired us back there. You've got a new idea, and we need your help. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. We call it the Automated Comedatron. All we need to do is enter some comic lines into it, and out of its mouth shall come comedy. But I feel that it's just the two of us. This thing won't be interesting enough, so please, help us come up with some lines. We know you don't say much, but sure you know a banger or 10. Come on, surely you must be interested in this somewhat. We'll see you after work, all right? All right.